About a month ago, we made one tiny change to our diet habits that had the most dramatic impact on our running and our lives. It was genuinely significant, and I'm going to tell you what it was in less than a minute. But the reason I tell you this at all is that we decided to use what we learnt about our diet and habits to tweak some more aspects of what we eat in the hope that it can really improve our running in a number of different ways. Some changes were really successful, some still a work in progress, probably for life. But I want to share the changes and insight with you to help your running as much as I think it's going to help ours, and our life, obviously. So, back to that first change we made. To explain the change fully, I need to point you in the direction of Andrew Huberman. He is an incredibly fascinating human and podcaster, and he's a neuroscientist and professor at Stanford in the US. Basically, he knows a lot about how the brain works. And it was listening to him talk about a tiny caffeine change that piqued my interest. I'll explain as I understand it. When you wake up each morning, you have some of a hormone called melatonin, which is the hormone that makes you tired, left over in your body. And your best bet is to get outside straight away into natural sunlight for 5 to 10 minutes, not through a window, and you let the body flush the melatonin away. But if you drink caffeine, it hides the melatonin from the brain, so the brain doesn't feel the need to get rid of it. Then, when the caffeine wears off mid-morning, the melatonin is still there and you experience an energy low or tiredness, and I'm sure we've all been there. But if you delay your intake for 90 minutes from waking up, not only have you flushed the leftover melatonin, but now you've got the pure hit of caffeine and your energy should be steady all day with no dips. Also, try not to look at your phone for the first 45 minutes to an hour of the day, we find really helps. It is amazing and it truly works. So here's the interesting bit, or is the bit I think is interesting anyway when I was putting this video together, is rather than us telling you about the diet changes we're making, because I think you probably wouldn't be that interested in that in general, what we're going to do is tell you the why we're making them and how we think they're going to benefit our running and our lives. And we're going to do it on our easy Thursday run along the river because that's our favourite run to do it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Point one, once we've got going. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Oh.
What we were looking to achieve with the caffeine was to increase our focus and energy and productivity in the day, because we found that we were having dips in energy both during the day and later in the evening, and it was affecting our kind of motivation and willingness to run. But the change has been huge on this one. So we're staying focused and really productive all day, no dips in energy, and the same when we get home. So not only have we done everything we needed to do so we can focus on the run, we're also still energized and up for the run when we get home.
Wait, stop. Before we move on to point two, I just have to flip back to this and say that delaying caffeine by 90 minutes every morning has been genuinely the single biggest change that we've made in our diet that's changed our life and our running. I cannot understate it. It's blown our minds, and I truly believe it has come from this change in our morning routine, the not looking at phones, the looking at the sunlight, not directly, the drinking coffee delayed. It's unbelievable. Okay, point two. And the second thing we've changed, and probably the hardest for me if I'm brutally honest, is we've crafted our environment so I am unable to snack on bad things. Let me show you. Right, first of all, if we look in the fridge, because if you take a look around in here, you're not going to find anything that I'm going to be able to get my hands on easily. This is all breakfast things. We've got things for dinner. We've got some drinks for Mary. This is chocolate, but it's nuts, so I can't eat it. Peanut butter, can't eat it. There's nothing I can get my hands on. And when you look up in this cupboard here, should point up there, cordial. I mean, what's this? Salted broad beans. I'm not going to be eating them. The thing is, my strength, I feel like, is knowing where I'm weak, and I am particularly weak when it comes to snacks. When I'm hungry, when I just want white chocolate, or I want to eat crisps. I don't really actually eat crisps very much, but if they're in the house, I'm going to eat them. So we craft our environment at home so that that is not a possible thing for me. And you might think, oh, that sounds boring, but I feel good about it. I don't want to snack on these things. I just have no willpower. But my battle really isn't at home. My battle's at work. Here's the thing about an uncontrollable environment like work. is that I'm surrounded by PE teachers and there are always snacks, and I'm just too weak willpower wise to consistently turn it down. I am turning this down though. But I'm under no illusion. I know I'm a work in progress. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to be better. We've got to be kind to ourselves. And come on, who's turning down ice cream birthday cake? That would be madness.
Now this one's an easy one to explain. Whereas the caffeine change was more to do with focus, productivity, and the willingness to get runs done. Changing the snacking and our environment was much more just about the spikes, the highs and lows, getting rid of those sugar ups and then the sugar downs, because Mary, what's my weakness?
Chocolate.
Chocolate's my weakness. It's actually not crisp, nothing like that.
Cake.
Yeah, anything with sugar. And if I remove it from my environment, I stand a much better chance of not having the highs and lows, which I don't want. I want that even balance throughout the day.
The third diet change is addressing portion distortion, because I've had a lifelong issue with overfilling my plate and I want to address it before it becomes a real issue. I've gotten away with it until now, just. This is maybe one of the biggest tests that we have, is portion distortion. This is bangers and mash night, yes I know, but I can't live without sausages. And usually, so see this bowl here, this has got extra mash in it. We're trying to be good and think, what do we genuinely need?
Yeah, usually we would have all the mash and just no matter how much. So we're really whittling it down to what we need.
Also, how many sausages? I mean, I need all of those sausages, Mary.
You do not.
I do.
You can have 2.
No. Yeah, load us up on the broccoli, Mary. You can have as much broccoli as your heart desires. I think that's okay.
We've maxed out on veg, but that's all good.
And you know that it's a good thing because you know you can get maybe a bit of a sausage. Uh-oh.
Okay, stop there. Photo time, but while we're stopping for a photo, it's worth noting that when we talk about portion distortion, the reason we're doing it is absolutely nothing to do with being on a diet. It's, I don't believe in a diet, it's just getting the amounts that we eat right, because we're getting a little bit older and we know that our metabolism is going to slow down.
Yeah, we're feeling that.
And we also understand that while we run all the time and we burn off most of the calories we eat, it might not always be that way. We might get injured, and when you're in bad diet patterns and habits, then when you're injured and eating a lot of food, that's when the weight management can really be tricky. And I traditionally have always eaten really large portions of everything, haven't I?
Yeah, and I've always finished what's on my plate, so
Yeah.
it can be dangerous if you're not watching the amount you put on the plate in the first place.
No, and while we'll never weigh ourselves because we don't believe in that, and while we'll never actually go on a diet as such, we are just trying to get it right for us, what we need for our training, and that's the reason that we're doing it.
And the fourth change that we've made is just trying to tune in much more to our body's internal signals. So historically, both of us have been taught, eat what is on your plate without fail, and we always do. I never leave anything on my plate, but actually I'm wondering, does that mean I'm eating past where I am actually full and I'm just doing it for doing its sake? So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to absolutely tune into eat when we're hungry and not when we're not hungry, and stop eating when we feel like we're full up. It's as simple as that, and if you really pay attention, if you really listen, then you're definitely going to be getting somewhere nearer to eating the right amounts for you.
We wanted to tune into our body and the signals it's giving us, so we're really starting to recognise when we're genuinely hungry or when we're actually full and we could stop eating. And the way that translates to our running is just becoming more intuitive and practicing listening to our body. The more we understand our body and the better we can listen to our body and the signals it's giving us can really help us to maximise our running, understanding when we're tired, when we're pushing too hard, when we might be hungry during running and need some fuel. So we think that practicing listening to the signals our body's giving is going to really help us to maximise our running in both training and racing.
And diet change 5 is pretty easy. We just want to try to eat 2 days a week vegetarian. And I don't want to cut meat out of my life altogether because I enjoy it, but we do want to cut down just that little bit. This week our vegetarian meals are Monday, so I had a vegetarian lunch of rice and pretty much rice, and afternoon is noodles. I did have I have broccoli and egg and things like that as well. But this is broccoli ramen, so we're getting good veg in.
And mango smoothie, delish.
So there's a problem, you see. This is supposed to be my vegetarian day, but the life of a teacher is never easy and it's never calm, so I've just gone straight into the dining hall, seen lasagna and gone, yeah, give me that, give me all the vegetable. It's supposed to be my vegetarian day, but I'm just confessing I'm coming clean. It is aspirational. I'm not going to beat myself up that I'm not eating a vegetarian meal, because breakfast is vegetarian and dinner is going to be vegetarian, but this is supposed to be a vegetarian day, just with lasagna. But this is a vegetarian meal. I wish I could have shown you us making it, but this is, Mary,
Black bean and halloumi tacos.
and it is delicious, and that is topping off our vegetarian day. Did you actually manage to do vegetarian day? Add some lasagna. I mean, it's aspirational. We're getting there.
Maybe tomorrow.
And although this one, I'm not sure it's going to directly impact our running, like don't eat meat, be a better runner. I don't feel like it works that way, but what I do feel like it works like is, A, we should have better digestion by removing meat from our diet a couple of times a week, but B, it's just another good way of making sure that we're doing the right thing by our body, giving it a break from meat every now and then. Eating lots of veggies cannot be a bad thing, and you know, I still love meat. I'm not going to move away from it entirely, but it's just something we wanted to do.
And this is the final one. It's that we like treat meals. It's what we do. Sometimes it's just a way of ending the week, but what we were finding is we were sliding into a pattern of treat weekends. So 3 of the days out of the 7 we were eating what I would call low quality food, and because it was convenient, because it was easy to order, we just kept going into this pattern. So what we're going to try and do is simply have a nice meal a week that is like a takeaway or something that we really like, but one. And we're going to go back to this having better quality meals over the weekend, at lunchtime and in the afternoon. Our breakfast doesn't change. So that's the plan here.
And this last one is probably the easiest to translate directly into our running and life. But it's not for the reason you probably think. It's not because there is a direct correlation between eating low quality foods and then running performance. It's more to do with discipline. Yeah. But Elliot Kipchoge put it better than I could ever do and say, he said, only the disciplined in life are free. And if you are indisciplined, you're a slave to your moods and a slave to your passions, which really I take to mean that if you're feeling tired or you're feeling sad, you might make poor diet choices. If you're feeling tired or sad, you might not go for a run. But if you up the discipline levels, you'll make it happen regardless of what kind of mood that you're in. And that is why trying to tweak it down from 3 days of eating low quality foods, what we want, not having discipline, to back to 1 day is a real kind of message to ourselves about discipline, I think.
It's a statement saying,
yes,
I'm in control here.
Yes, and that will bleed directly into our running and everything else we want to make happen in our life. And that's just the way that we see it, really. Discipline over motivation.
And there you go. They are the 6 small diet changes we're making in the hope that it will impact our running and our life in a really positive way, and it's already started. And don't forget to consider subscribing to the channel, but no hard sell. And if you like the video, you're definitely going to like this one, which is the 9 tiny changes non-diet that we've made in our lives that, again, we really believe are going to help take our running up another level. So I hope it helps. I'll see you on Wednesday. Another race coming. Ring the PB bell for Mary already. Ding ding.